Well, in this video, let's start to look at some textures that we already have inside Blender. You do Shift A, and you will see here we have a texture section. Now we can see we have quite a bit of texture that are already built in. They're called node texture because they are just built inside Blender. If I'm simply just click one, this brick texture, put in here, and I'm just going to kind of hide this, hit H to hide it, and to actually making this plane as the primary resource, we're gonna do the texture. So if I'm going to go to the side view, hit R to rotate it, hit Z to push it up, and go to the front view. Now we have a plane that we can do texture. First thing we're gonna do, we can do hit new, and then we can just do a wall material, and do that. And immediately you know this is the principal VSDF quickly built for you, and that's the default setting. What we can do here, we're going to do Shift A to start doing a texture. We're just going to do a brick texture, put in here. So what we can do here, the brick textures, usually you can just hook the color to the base color, and now watch what's going to happen on here. We're going to have bricks, yes, but it looks super unrealistic, but it does the job. Okay, so this is what's happening here. You can do quite a bit, change the color for each section, and you can just do whatever you want, and it's just gonna creating a certain pattern that for you, that kind of having this pattern. One thing I really want to point it out is that don't limit it by its name. It's called brick, but just think about the pattern shape that generating. We can do quite a bit of things with it. And because this is not really a procedural texturing course, we just wanted to spending more time on our creative side to using the tool a little bit better. I'm not a fan of procedural material, but I just want to point it out. You can do quite a bit of things with the built-in procedural material. You can change the scale easily. You know, I have a lot of fun with it right now. You know, if you are a graphic designer, you just want to quickly generate some patterns. You don't always have to do that inside of Illustrator. You can do that inside the Blender as well. So you can see a lot of options you can do, you know. So we can just do that, okay? So we can just change things around, okay? That's the brick texture. And I can do a control, right click, cut it off, and we're gonna put it on the side. All right, and next thing we're gonna do, Shift A, we're gonna do next texture, checker texture. This is a much simpler texture that we have. If I do here, you can see we are like a checkerboard. Like this is basically what it does. And whatever you want to do, you can just change in the color for that each one, and they have very limited functions. You can change the scale pretty quickly and straightforward, right? And you can utilizing this is not only using as a color texture, you can using as a map as well. Okay, so we can just cut it off. We'll go over some examples later on to utilize this, but you know these are just built-in texture, and you should be able to play with it. And the environment textures, that's the one we use already in here for our environment. So that's loading HDRI only. That's why I call it environment texture. And then we'll go to the next one, the gradient texture. That's the one I use quite often. And if I hook this, you can see a gradients going on here. And a good thing about this, you can even change the gradients and how quickly fall off, and how much is you can do the gradient, and you can even changing the shape of the gradients as well. If I do spherical, and actually the corner is the hotspot, then we do that. When we're building the light in the case study, we will do more practice when you're using this to building the light that we want. Okay, so that's the gradient texture. Another one, let's go with the next one. This is something that I use very often, but this is the IES, is referring certain lighting texture for our Blender default lighting, but that's not something that we use very often. Image textures, of course, we're gonna use a whole lot. We're not gonna go over it here. Magic texture is magic. It sounds cool, right? Yeah, when we plug the thing in, you see it's a little bit magical, right? This is texture that sometimes you use to building the ladder in procedural. I never use this, so just put it out there. You know, there's certain pattern you can generating. You can actually distort this. It can be pretty cool. I think old 80s, some kind of like pattern, but you can do a lot of things with it. So that's the magic texture. Shift A. Let's do one more, and then we can go to the masquerade. So this is the kind of interesting one, and it has quite a bit useful for our study. Okay, so masquerade, if you do this plug in, this one has a kind of random patch or shapes with it. It's not really like a directly color with it. You can change the shape of the details. You can change the scale of this kind of like patchy and random shapes. That can be very useful when you create some variation on your texturing layers using this kind of like materials. Definitely you can kind of see that. A lot of stuff you can tweak things around, and that's the masquerade texture. Okay, and do Shift A to do another one. This is my favorite node texture built inside Blender. It's called noise texture. This one I often use to kind of like break down a certain materials. I really don't like the super ultra smooth surface, although it can have a certain color, but I want having some sort of variation with it. Okay, so what I would do, I just gonna hook the color with the base color, and although you can see here, this is something a little bit a lot of color, but we will use this noise texture to creating a bump node, really create put it in here in the normal, so we can have some like actual texture with it. That we will go over more details when we're building the case study later, but this noise texture is my favorite. So Shift A, let's do one more war noise, so we can have that, and let's go connect with color to do that. As you can see here, this is the signature look of a war noise. It's kind of cool, and it feels like it can actually building a cells kind of looking with it. And you can see we have different patterns. You can certainly change the scales and also the shape between that. So if I'm putting the exponent, if I'm changing things around, you can see that it feels like it's being distorted and changing the shapes, and also can be a little bit random and the shapes. It's kind of a lot of fun to do that. If I hold Control Shift and click, you will see this one, it directly activated the preview of the certain textures. You can see if I'm looking at this texture in the black and white view, and then you will see this feels like a micro scope view of looking at cells, individuals. This is kind of pretty cool patterns that you can use. Not only use for color map, you can use these for you can even use this as a roughness map or bump map. Okay, so that's kind of cool. We can certainly do quite a bit of things with it. See that start pattern? So that's something that you will need to spend some time to really play with it. And then the next texture we want to go Shift A, wave texture. This is also pretty cool, and I just select these. You can see if you have some certain stripes, you can actually use the wave textures, and it doesn't always need to be using the bands. You can even use the rings. It's kind of a little bit different, and also we can do different feeling. You see this is kind of saw or triangle. There's a name with it. You will learn more details when you doing more research on the procedural texturing nodes inside Blender. I did my study that some of these procedural courses inside Blender can be super boring, because for us, product photographer or designers, we are creative, so we really want to getting some result. We really don't need to know how these math works in order to get a result on this. But I just want to point it out. We have some options in here in order to kind of show you how to do these, and we're just gonna work with these available tools. Again, I'm not a procedural material fanboy, but I do know there's some benefit with it, but I just want to let you guys know this is not my way to creating the materials in my workflow. And the last one, which is called the white noise. I don't use the white noise at all, barely, but I just don't get it too much value for my workflow when I'm creating these. My favorite texture is going to be the noise texture that I use very often. And another one I think I forgot on the list, Shift A, is the sky texture. But this one is specifically talking about the world. So it's not really super cool, but I just want to show you guys how to do this. And do Control Spacebar and do Shift A to do a sky texture and put it in here. So I can just hook this one to the sky in texture, come out, and then you don't see a whole lot. But if we look at here and enable the sky, I'm gonna go here to the render settings. Under the film, I enable the transport. You will see we're inside a environment that feels like a sky, but you can actually change your things around. Sun size, you can change the sun size, and you can change the sun rotations. You can see that. Yeah, a little bit different. It's not really realistic looking, but you can have something going on here. And if you see, we have certain patterns. I don't use this one at all, but I know that this kind of texture is very popular for some 3D artists when they are creating some sci-fi environment and some cool environment that they need some beautiful gradient background in the environment. So, but anyway, that's available. I just want to let you guys know. But this one, the HDRI, is the one to go. Okay, so this is everything I want to cover in this video, and I will see you in the next one.